You ever have one of those days where the world just feels a little too much? Too loud, too bright, maybe just too emotionally intense? Well, if that sounds familiar, you are definitely not alone. And it turns out there's a really fascinating biological reason for that feeling. So let's dive in and explore the overwhelmed brain.
Okay, so let's do a quick gut check. First question, do you ever walk into a party or a crowded place feeling totally fine, but an hour later you feel completely wiped out? Like someone just pulled the plug on your battery?
All right, what about this one? Can you walk into a room and just feel the vibe? Like you instantly know what the mood is? If your friend is having a bad day, do you start to feel that sadness almost like it's your own? And finally, the big one. Has anyone ever said those words to you? You're just being too sensitive. Or you really need to toughen up. If you're sitting there nodding along to any of this, then yeah, you're in exactly the right place. Because here's the most important thing I want you to hear today. What you're experiencing is not a personal failing. It is not something that's broken or needs to be fixed. It's actually a biological trait that's hardwired right into your brain and your nervous system. So the whole point here is that we have to reframe this entire conversation. This is not about being weak. It's not about being overly emotional. It is simply about having a more sensitive nervous system, one that's built from the ground up to take in more information from the world around you. And you know what? Science actually has a name for this. It's not just some idea, it's a real, studied trait. And it's way more common than you might think. We're talking about something present in roughly 15 to 20% of the population. The official term for it is high sensory processing sensitivity, or HSP. And look at that definition. It's a neutral biological trait. Not good, not bad, it just is. And the most important word in there is deeply. Your brain isn't broken, it's just processing everything, sights, sounds, emotions, all of it, on a much, much more profound level. And this is where it all clicks into place. For so long, the myth has been, oh, you're just having an emotional overreaction. But the scientific fact is a total game changer. Your brain is literally, physically wired to absorb and process more data from your environment than the average brain. So, the real reason you feel overwhelmed isn't about your character. It's about cognitive load. Just think about it like your brain is a computer. If your computer is constantly running more programs and processing way more data, it's going to hit its limit and feel overwhelmed a lot faster. It's just a matter of processing power. It has absolutely nothing to do with who you are as a person.
So, what does this actually look and feel like in your day-to-day life? Let's break down some of the most common signs and see if these ring a bell for you.
First up, being deeply affected by the moods of other people. This is a classic. It happens because your brain is picking up on every little thing, the shift in someone's tone, their body language, and you're processing it all. Then, of course, there's feeling overwhelmed by sensory stuff, like loud music or chaotic places. And finally, you probably notice all the little things, those subtle details that just fly right over most people's heads. Now, all that deep processing also means you're likely to have a really rich and complex inner life. You're a deep thinker, a daydreamer. It also means that beauty, whether it's in art or nature or music, can just move you to your core. And here's the big one. That need to withdraw to a quiet place to recharge, that isn't you being antisocial. It's essential maintenance. It's you letting your processor cool down for a bit. Okay, so if you're recognizing yourself in these signs, the next step is a really powerful one. It's all about shifting your perspective and seeing this trait for exactly what it is. Look, every trait has two sides to the coin. The challenge? Yeah, it's real. That high cognitive load means you can be more prone to stress and burnout if you don't manage things. But the strength? The flip side is incredible. That exact same deep processing makes you super observant, deeply empathetic, and often really, really creative. You connect dots that other people don't even see or on the same page. This quote just says it all perfectly. The goal is not to fix your sensitivity or try to build some thicker skin. No way. The goal is to understand it. Once you really get how your unique nervous system works, you can learn how to harness its incredible strengths while also protecting yourself from overload. When you do that, it truly is a superpower. So I want to leave you with this question to think about. Knowing that this is not a flaw, it's a feature, it's part of your design. What's one small step you can take, maybe even today, to start harnessing this trait? How can you begin to turn your sensitivity into your greatest strength?